Picture this. You're flying over the vast, unforgiving Amazon rainforest. Suddenly, the plane lurches violently. Alarms blare, the world turns upside down, and then, darkness. You wake up, still strapped to your seat, but you're not in the sky anymore. You're on the forest floor, surrounded by a suffocating green canopy. You're alone, injured, and miles from civilization. This isn't the plot of a movie. This is the true story of Juliane Koepcke, a 17-year-old girl who fell 2 miles from the sky and survived. On Christmas Eve 1971, Juliane and her mother boarded LANSA Flight 508 in Lima, Peru. They were heading to Koepcke to meet her father, a renowned zoologist. The flight started normally, but soon they flew into a massive thunderstorm. Passengers grew anxious. Juliane's mother said calmly, "I don't like this." Those would be the last words Juliane ever heard her speak. A bolt of lightning struck the plane's wing. The aircraft disintegrated in mid-air, and Juliane, still strapped to her row of seats, was ejected into the storm. She plummeted nearly 10,000 feet, the spinning chair acting as a crude helicopter, slowing her descent just enough. The dense foliage of the rainforest canopy cushioned her fall, breaking branches as she crashed through until she landed on the soft, muddy ground. When she regained consciousness the next day, she was in a world of pain. Her collarbone was broken, her right eye was swollen shut, and she had a deep gash on her leg. But miraculously, she was alive. For the first day, she was in shock. She called out for her mother, but only the sounds of the jungle answered. All around her was the wreckage of the plane, scattered like macabre Christmas ornaments. She found a bag of candy, which would be her only food for days. The daughter of 2 famous zoologists, Juliane had spent years living in the Amazon, learning survival skills from her parents. Her father had once given her a crucial piece of advice. If you ever lost in the jungle, find a stream and follow it. Waterways are the highways of the rainforest, and they almost always lead to civilization. So, with a broken collarbone and a concussion, she began to walk. The jungle was a labyrinth of dangers. Venomous snakes, spiders, and poison dart frogs were everywhere. Caimans, a type of alligator, lurked in the water. The air was thick with mosquitoes, and her open wounds quickly became infested with maggots. Every step was agony. She waded through streams, sometimes waist-deep, to avoid the thick undergrowth and the creatures that lived there. At night she'd huddle on the bank, shivering, unable to sleep for fear of what lurked in the dark. Days blurred into one another. The candy ran out. Hunger gnawed at her, but she resisted the urge to eat the strange, colorful fruits of the jungle, knowing many were poisonous. She was terrified, but she was also determined. She thought of her father, waiting for her, and it gave her strength. The gash on her arm worsened. Maggots had burrowed deep into the wound. Remembering a treatment for their dog, she used a stick to dig out dozens of the squirming larvae, an excruciatingly painful process that likely saved her from a fatal infection. She was losing hope, her body was failing. On the 10th day, weak and disoriented, she stumbled upon something that made her heart leap, a small motorized boat moored to a riverbank. She knew it meant people were nearby. Next to the boat, she found a small hut and a path leading away from the river. She was too weak to walk any further. She crawled up the riverbank and into the hut, a simple shelter for local loggers. It was empty. She decided to wait, praying someone would return. Later that day, she heard voices. 3 men appeared, returning from their work. When they saw her, a ghostly figure, one eye swollen shut, covered in mud and insect bites, they were terrified. They thought she was a water spirit, a mythical creature from local folklore. Juliane, who spoke Spanish, calmly explained who she was. The men's fear turned to astonishment. They had heard about the plane crash on the radio but assumed there were no survivors. The loggers were her saviors. They treated her wounds with a local remedy, using gasoline to disinfect and remove the remaining maggots from her arm. They gave her food and a safe place to rest. The next morning, they took her on a 7-hour canoe journey to a small village. From there, she was airlifted to a hospital in Koepcke, where she was finally, miraculously, reunited with her father. The news of her survival stunned the world. She was the sole survivor of a crash that claimed 91 lives, including her mother's. Her story is a testament not just to luck, but to resilience, knowledge, and the will to live. The lessons her parents taught her, the simple rule to follow the water, saved her life. Juliane Koepcke went on to follow in her parents' footsteps, becoming a successful zoologist herself, dedicating her life to studying the very rainforest that almost claimed it. Her story is a powerful reminder that even in our darkest moments, when all hope seems lost, there is a path forward. Sometimes that path is as simple as following a stream. Juliane didn't just survive the jungle. She came to understand it, and ultimately to protect it. It's an incredible story of loss, survival, and the unbreakable human spirit. Thanks so much for watching. What part of Juliane's story amazed you the most? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. See you next time.